This is Insiders Pro Wrestling, and the best is still to come.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. What's going on? I hope you're all doing well out there. And we are here for another episode of Between the Ropes. And as always, a lot of stuff going on, especially after that episode of SmackDown. And a lot of people are certainly talking, whether that's good talk or bad talk. But, well, you know what? I don't know, Jeff. In an old journalism, like old school journalism, it used to be where as long as people are talking at all, that's a good thing, and that's definitely what's going on with all this stuff, and we'll get to it, but it's definitely one of the big stories right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's honestly, and I know we'll get into this, but wrestling is so polarizing right now, and I mean everything is, but if you're a fan of wrestling, it's extremely polarizing right now. For most people, you either love it or you hate it.
Yep.
There's really, rarely ever any in the middle with people. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll get into that. I really like the question we got this week.
Yeah, I did too. I read it. Yeah, when you showed me the script. Yeah,
I really like that question this week. Yeah. So that'll be a fun one to discuss with you and to get everybody else's feedback on. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about everything tonight, and we'll talk about obviously SmackDown because that was very eventful.
It was. I would say so. Yes, I would say so. Yeah. It's and the question that Jeff's referring to obviously is the question we'll have later in the show, but it brings up a good point because a lot of times people will just send us like a generic wrestling question. Well, but don't forget, you can aim those questions directly at us, and that's kind of what this one did, which was kind of cool. So you can do that, and it makes for an interesting conversation. And of course, you guys getting in your opinions as well. So yeah, lots to talk about. But before we do, I'd be remiss if I did not go over our schedule. So first of all, hello to everyone out there. Barry Monkey Dylan, Deanna's here, Derek's here. Brandon's here, Barry Monkey, Anthony Slade, of course, member of the channel. Hello, Anthony. We've got Dylan, Clown, and some others out there. So welcome. There's our schedule. You can see our next show will be Fireflies Forever on Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we had another video for the guys to talk about, so they will be chatting about that and more. And then we've got TNA, which was amazing. Oh, my God. Oh my God. What a show last week, and buzzing about that show. And man, I couldn't gush more about the stuff with Rosemary. And man, I'm excited. So, and of course she re-signed. That was a big deal. She re-signed a contract with them, which is amazing. So join us on Thursday, of course, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll see what happens with the next episode of that, which is going to be very, very interesting as we lead more toward their next pay-per-view. And then, of course, right here, next Sunday at 7:30 p.m., which we will go over all of the latest and greatest news that is out there in wrestling. So, all right. Sean Rousset, hello. Alexa Bliss Gamer, hello to you. And hello to Dylan also. So, all right, cool. Well, we got a lot to talk about, guys, so we will get started. So, Jeff, what do we got first?
Let's get into the news real quick. So here's the music for that.
All right.
All
There
right.
you go.
Do we have any breaking news?
So I'm just going to look up right now. Let me see what we got. Seth Rollins was cleared to return officially. So that's kind of cool.
That's good.
Let's see here. Oh, Jeff, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. And I know we might discuss this later, but what a great feeling it was to see Demolition elected to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I definitely want to have you bring that up for sure.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Demolition, always was. And aside from like my love for tag team wrestling that started with like the Strongbow brothers primarily, and then up from there, man, when Demolition, and this was me going through my 13-year-old phase with Jason, right? So when they came out with the black friggin' hockey masks on, that I basically was wearing a white one like that because you couldn't get costumes that looked like the characters back then. They were just huge for me, and I just to see that they finally got their due. I think it was long overdue that they got elected, and I'm just this class has been good, man. Really, really good. When everybody was thinking it was only going to be Stephanie, no, that is not the case. We are getting some really, really good talent out there, and man, I am just excited to see Demolition there and stuff. It's just great because without them, again, they were kind of like a mix of a horror type. A lot of people often say, well, they were, people would come out and say they're Road Warrior knockoffs. But that I don't think that was the case. They did similar things, no doubt. The makeup and stuff like that, and the masks and everything, yes. But they had two different styles, and you could have had them, but I would have loved to seen them wrestle each other. Maybe they did at some point, and I was just too young to notice.
Yeah.
But I love those guys, and I'm really, really happy for them, and I'm really thrilled that they are getting in. But I'm definitely going to be tuning into the Hall of Fame. Most of the time I do, but this year now I have an extra incentive to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a bit of breaking news, but I wanted to share what Clown has. I have it up on as the comment, but Steph DeLander and Mance Warner showed up last night at GCW after leaving TNA. So last week, that was a bit of breaking news heading into last Thursday's episode. So that definitely wanted to bring that up. But
I didn't even know. No, I was just going to say I had no idea until it might have been Clown that broke the news. I had no idea that happened. And I mean, here's the thing, and good for them. I mean, Mance was in GCW before. It seems like he has a pretty good home there, and a lot of people know him from there. And yeah, like I said, things don't always work out. It's just going to happen. Some people go from here and go from there, and that's the good thing about this. Is why we always say it's a good thing that there are choices and that people can move around and can go to other places and do very well. And so maybe they didn't like the direction they were going, or maybe it just came down to that the contracts were up and, they just didn't get them renewed for whatever reason. But yeah, listen, I like both of them. I think they're both great. Steph DeLander was doing that whole thing, with oh geez, my God, I forgot his, yeah. And so she's great, and Mance is awesome, and I wish them all the best, and I'm sure they'll do really well in GCW.
Yeah, I thought that, just kind of thinking after last week's episode, which was great, by the way, and we'll talk about it. But I thought about how they had used Mance and Steph up to that point.
Right.
And knowing how Mance is portrayed in other places and kind of his character work and what he likes to do, that wasn't what TNA was doing, really.
Right.
And I was hoping that the feud with AJ was going to be that thing where we saw him kind of return to this violence and just over the top mayhem kind of deal. And, unfortunately we didn't get that. I hope that he gets an opportunity elsewhere, but GCW is awesome. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people, people love GCW. I've been getting into it more because of Clown. So I blame Clown for taking more wrestling time every month because I have fun with it. But yeah, I wish them the best. I think they're awesome, and just really hope that wherever they land next, they are utilized the way that they want to be and should be. The last bit of breaking news that I wanted to share is a little bit more a personal thing and more of a family thing, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but what I will share is that James is in the hospital, and if you don't mind, just saying some prayers for James, keeping him in your thoughts. He may be able to respond if you DM him. I don't know, but I've heard from him, and he's in good spirits. Seems to be heading in the right direction. So just keep him in your thoughts. He's a big part of this community. He's been supportive since day one, and he's family. So so obviously when he's not around, you notice, and we just want him to feel better. So yeah, get well, James.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've known James, and Jeff has known James since we've been doing this show.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you get to know someone, and when they're not doing well, you just try to want to lift their spirits a little bit and stuff like that. So, yeah, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers until he gets through this. And yeah, it's we obviously miss him in the chat, and so hopefully he will come through this okay and better than ever, and for sure. So yeah, great shout out, and hopefully James gets better very quickly.
Yeah, hope so. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll move to our first topic.
All righty, let's do it.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, we gotta talk about it first, right?
Yeah.
Cody regaining the title and setting up a match at WrestleMania with Randy Orton. First, I want to ask Joe, what were your thoughts on the finish of this match? Did it go the way you thought it would? And what do you think of the reaction to it?
Well, you know what? I when I heard that they were making the match for SmackDown, I pretty much at that point knew, okay, Drew's going to lose. I knew at that point he was going to lose. I just didn't know they were going to go the way that they went with it, with the referees getting knocked out and all that, because that kind of stuff usually plays into the hands of the bad guy, or also plays into the hands of shenanigans, where you could have had Jacob Fatu come down, or you could have had, well, he did, but I mean, you could have had some other stuff going on that would have cost Cody to not win the match. That would have kept the title in the hands of Drew. So I thought from the start that Cody was going to win, just because, and here's the reason behind it. And this is not because, listen, I love Drew McIntyre, and I think he deserved that title. I really do. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, to the detriment of that, they'll say, well, should have had it longer and probably should have had it through at least one WrestleMania. And I get that side of it, right? I get that side of it. But I think the dynamic between Randy Orton and Cody, and the fact that they're both faces, and it's turning out to be, Jeff, where it's a WrestleMania unlike no other in a way, because now you have two defined main events where there's not really a bad guy. I mean, you can look at it as either two bad guys or two good guys with both of these matchups. Roman's been a good guy. Well, now Punk's kind of doing some bad guy things and saying some bad guy things.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
Right?
Too.
And now what are you going to have in the dynamic with Cody and Randy? And a lot of people are thinking, well, Randy's a snake. Randy's going to snake because you just, and maybe they will go that way. Maybe they will turn Randy back heel, and that's maybe how he'll win. I don't know. But what I think is good for WrestleMania, and what I think is good for wrestling in general, is not knowing. You can't really look at either one of these matchups and predict an outcome with any certainty. You can say why you think it's going to happen, but you can't 100% say, oh, he's going to win. Like, you know, it almost goes back to the WrestleMania where we had Cody and Roman for the first time. And, you really didn't know. Like, you really didn't know. And even all through that match, everything that was going on, you didn't know. And then finally, the way it ended, you know, you're like, oh, damn. And then Cody won. But I think it's good to not know exactly what is going to happen. They can still mess with this match. I hope, and maybe I'm one of the ones that are one of the few here. I don't want them to. I don't want it to be a 4-man match or a fatal 4-way, all that kind. I don't like those matches, especially in a Mania, because that demeans what Randy's accomplished, in my opinion. If you make it a fatal 4-way, it's going to be so much easier for Randy to not win the title, and I don't want to deal with that. And the same thing with Roman and Punk. You can't demean that match. So Barry's saying Cody's boring as a champion. Drew is more entertaining. See, you're looking at it from that standpoint, but a lot of people are probably going to disagree with you, being the fact that Cody is a face and Drew is a heel. And Drew can be a little maybe more entertaining than Cody can. Now, whether a lot of people are sick of Cody Rhodes, that's a whole nother question. They certainly can be, and you can come at it from that standpoint. But the fact that Cody and Drew have such a relationship that they do now makes it very, very, very interesting, because, you know, Randy's kind of like a mentor, but Randy came out and did a promo where he's saying, look, I'm all about me right now. I don't care who wins. And I think in that aspect, the main event, I think at that point, is better with Cody than it is with Drew. Drew would have been a clear-cut heel. Everyone would have been on the side of Randy Orton pretty much, and Drew would have lost the title anyway. So, in my opinion, so I think it's better just to do it this way. But listen, I get it. I understand it. A lot of people wanted Cody to change his character and his mannerisms and things like that. Well, maybe we get that in this match too. Maybe he does. Maybe he gets so desperate not to lose that he changes instead of Randy being the one to change. So, and again, a lot can happen between now and Mania. A lot can happen. And they can certainly do some weird stuff with some other wrestlers. But like I said, I really hope that's not the case. But was I surprised? No. I'm not surprised at all that Cody won. The way he did it, really, honestly, Jeff, didn't surprise me either. I kind of figured Jacob Fatu was going to play some kind of a part in it. He obviously has animosity toward Drew way more than he would have toward Cody, which to me didn't make much sense anyway, to have that little confrontation going on between them two. So that didn't make sense. That said, all this said, and Jeff and I were talking about this a little bit before we came on, I believe that all of this, now maybe not Punk and Roman, but this matchup in particular is ramifications because of who can't be there. I think that's why. That I think WWE had to do like a swerve. They had to do something different, because I think that some of the people that were slated possibly for the main event are not going to be there due to injury. And I think that this is a kind of just like a 360. So yeah. What do you think about it, Jeff?
So I wasn't surprised at all that Cody won. Honestly, I wasn't surprised that Jacob got involved. I wasn't surprised that we got shenanigans. I wasn't surprised that we got a table introduced and somehow that wasn't a DQ.
Yeah,
I wasn't surprised by any of that, honestly.
Double ref bump.
Yeah, as much as I think, if we really think about it, the run that Cody is on right now is the exact same run that Roman was on.
Yeah.
except they've had Cody drop the title a couple times during that run. So it's not a full 2.5 year or whatever it's been. It's just, okay, well, we'll make it interesting every now and again. And I think because everyone feels like, okay, they take it off of Cody for a little bit, and then they put it on someone else, but not long enough, and then they give it right back to him. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of the reaction and a lot of what we're seeing is just company and fans being completely on two different pages. And with the company, I think, given that they had a lot of injuries and everything that you brought up, they had to pivot. They had to adapt and adjust. So I feel like they said, well, let's just go safe. It's kind of like, given that we're in March right now.
Yep.
March Madness. Sometimes with your brackets, you just go chalk. I think that's what they did. Let's just give everybody the 4 of the biggest stars of all time.
Right.
And those are 2 main events that we can do. We can advertise the heck out of that because of the name recognition. It'll sell advertising. It'll get people interested because of the history between Randy and Cody and because of the war of the words between CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and we'll get butts and seats. So I think that's how they're looking at it. And I think everyone else is like, well, Drew didn't have it long enough. He should have had it a little bit longer. And I get it. Like, Drew's a great champion. I love Drew. I really do. But again, I think to Joe's point, they had to pivot. Yeah. And when they pivoted, maybe it changed all this stuff up. We don't know, and we won't know, and that's fine. But I just think that as fans, even in this chat, I want all of you to kind of think about everyone's comments in the chat so far about this one particular story. And that's just the folks that are represented here.
Yeah.
Then you take that and you multiply that by however many millions of people watch WWE. And this isn't just a WWE problem.
Right.
This is across the board where fans are like, they get behind someone. Cody, prime example. A couple years ago when The Rock got involved and everyone thought that Cody was going to get screwed.
Yeah.
People lost their flipping mind.
Yes, they did.
Because they thought he was going to get screwed. My God, Dave LaGreca lost his crap.
Oh my God, he went off on The Rock on the right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like how quickly we forget, or is it what Daniel Bryan said, the whole fickle thing? I don't know. But I think I don't want to go on an old man rant, and I'm not. I'm just not going to do it. But I do think that at some point, as a wrestling company, if you say that you listen to the fans, listen to the fans.
Right.
Don't halfway listen to them. Like, listen to them. Or just tell them, listen, we appreciate your feedback. We appreciate your comments. But Grey's Anatomy doesn't take fan suggestions on how they should write whatever season they're on. Neither are we. This is what we're going to give you. Either you like it and you stick with us, or you don't and you're gone. I don't know. But I feel like at some point, someone in the relationship needs to have that conversation. So until then, we'll continue to have a lot of frustrated fans, I think, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, to Jeff's point, like, does Marvel give a damn what fans think about their upcoming movies? No. I mean, but see, that's, and now I do disagree with some of you in the chat, because there are some people in the chat that are saying that they're not pushing the young stars. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Right. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, all the stuff you're seeing happening on SmackDown. Look at all the young stars that are getting. My God, Trick Williams. Come on, dude. The dude is coming out when Randy Orton, the guy who's going to be in the main event at WrestleMania, is out in the ring. He's right up there.
And the thing we got to keep in mind with that is this will be Trick's first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's not going to automatically in his first WrestleMania be in the main event or at the top of the card, nor should we expect him to be.
Right.
The fact that he's having the interactions with Randy leads me to believe that maybe somehow, some way he gets involved at Mania.
That could be.
And imagine the pop there. I don't know, but
he could cost Randy the title. Look at that. You have a great point, Jeff, because that's been going on for weeks with those two.
Right.
Like weeks. Right. So
I think we could get Trick costing Randy, but Sammy trying to cost Cody. And
whichever of the two it wins out to
whoever gets to it gets to it.
Yeah. That could be crazy, but I don't agree with the youth stuff. That I don't agree with. Any other time you can make that argument. All the past WrestleManias where we got all the old guys coming back all the time, right? That you can certainly make an argument for that. You can't now because everybody that's look at what they're going to do with Obafemi. We still haven't even heard what he's going to do if he ends up wrestling Brock. Come on. I mean, at his first ever WrestleMania, and he's going to wrestle Brock freaking Lesnar, like that's pushing their young talent. That is not them ignoring young talent. Right. But to expect that they're going to push a young guy right into a main event of Mania, that's a little too much, I think. But I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's what it is. Again, like Jeff said, and I really think. I mean, look at the guys they've lost. Half of the division, one of which was probably going to main event Mania. So Braun Breaker was probably going to main event Mania in one way or another. And he's out. So that they have to pivot. They have to change things up. And, you look at the history of WWE. And yes, a lot of times you could complain and you could say, oh, here we go. Like Jeff made mention of The Rock. Here we go. They're going to bring back the old dude. He's going to come in. He's going to screw stuff up. He's going to win a title because that's what they used to do. They're not doing that as much anymore. So you can't really say that. Carmelo Hayes is another great shout out, Sean. Yeah. I mean, there is certainly youth in WWE right now that is being pushed. That is not a question. This, I just think it was a pivot to get just a more intriguing storyline, right? Would you have rather? I'll ask you all this in the chat, and then we'll move on because you could talk about this all night. It's a glaring thing, but I'll ask you all in the chat. Would you rather have had Cody against Randy, or would you have rather have had Cody against Drew in WrestleMania? Because either way, or now a lot of you may just say, "Well, no, I didn't want Cody." Okay, where are you going to put him? Are you going to throw him down on the mid card somewhere? That's just not going to happen. Like him or hate him, Cody's not a mid carder, so he's not going to go down and wrestle somebody out of the. Like, who would you have had or rather have for Cody as an opponent and still have him kind of up at the top of the card? Jacob Fatu? I don't really think that ever made sense. That whole thing never made any sense to me. So I that's what I mean. Like, sometimes they just have to go with the best call that they think that they can have. And to me, the Randy and Cody thing is intriguing because you kind of don't know. Either one of them, Jeff, could go heel. Mm-hmm. Cody could. Everybody wants that. If Cody turns heel in this match, I guarantee you people will go nuts. people will go nuts. If he turns full heel and he does something like gives Randy Orton a crotch shot and wins because of that, people will go insane because they've wanted that for months now. So I don't know. I think is it ideal that Cody's back involved? Probably for a lot of people, no, because they're a little bit bored of it. I get it. But for business right now, I just don't see any other place that they could have gone. I really don't. And it was great that they gave Drew the title. I agree with Jeff. I love Drew McIntyre. Always did. And I'm very glad he got the title, especially how he won it when there were no fans watching. He deserved it. And I'm sure he'll get it again. This won't be the last time we'll ever see Drew with a title. But yeah, we could go on about this topic forever and ever and ever.
We really could. But it's but no, I think too, and as fans, we shouldn't look at it like this, but because we do this, I try to present that side of it too. These companies, they're gonna do what makes the most sense when it comes to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Butts in seats, period.
What gets people subscribing to ESPN and stuff? Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna continue to Randy Orton. Listen, as much as we love Drew, I don't know that a person who watches WWE 3 times a year knows Drew as well as we do.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Just saying. True. One day I want to discuss Cody's career path, because he went from Stardust and dashing Cody Rhodes and all that stuff to 3-time WWE champ.
Yep. Yeah.
So
he did.
Speaking of champs and former champs, these two got into a war of words, and I'm of the belief that sometimes maybe we can take a step a little too far. But I want to know how everyone else felt. How did everyone? What did you think about this battle of words, Joe and chat? And did you think that CM Punk went too far when he delivered the line?
I was stunned. I really was stunned by that. I didn't see that coming. That just came out of nowhere when he said that. I'm like, oh man. And I'll be honest, like, I sometimes wonder, and look, I get it. I know wrestling is scripted. I know that they write, this stuff is all written and stuff like that. But you have to wonder sometimes if something like this actually was, that Punk didn't just, because I'll tell you what, the look on Roman's face almost was like a look of shock. And if he knew that was coming, then good on him, because he's a hell of an actor, because he made that look like he didn't know what to say. Like Punk certainly quieted him from that. Now, was it a tasteful way to quiet somebody? Not at all. But holy, like when you always think, like, how many times have we said on our show where I can't believe he went there? Well, this one, I really can't believe that he went there. Like now again, you have another matchup here, right? Where you don't have a clear-cut heel. Roman's not a heel anymore. People love him. They're chanting his name when he's coming into the arena and everything like that. That whole thing. And there's another ironic thing, Jeff. Who would have thought after his whole big reign that everybody couldn't stand him and wanted him gone as a champion? They wanted him gone. Now all of a sudden they're chanting, his name. They're cheering for him, and things completely turned around. And I'll tell you what. Now it's almost as if like CM Punk's the villain in this. At least after that. Like there may be some people, and I know a lot of people love Punk, but there may be some people after that comment that might actually want to boo this dude when he comes out the next time. I mean, I would never, ever have thought that he would go there. Like that was, the way he said that. And I was like, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, he did not just say that like that. And when was it too far? I can bet you there's probably a good amount of the audience that might have thought so. That audience was kind of stunned. And I could bet you that there are going to be a lot of people that are out there that might think so too. And might think that it was in poor taste to make that comment, especially for anybody who has lost a father in their lives. So that's one of those where you're listening to it and you're like, ee, and you're kind of like, wow, I don't know what to say. And you kind of feel a little weird, but look, I don't know how you can really make this any more hot than it is. And they've got some weeks to go before WrestleMania. But this is if this was at a level of like spice, this just went up to like triple, the when you go to eat wings, like the hottest wing you can get is now where this is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. And how the hell does Roman come back from that? Like, other than to say, like, if they're going to keep battling with words, what does Roman do to stoop to that level? I don't know.
But see, I don't think at this point, there are any more words that he can say.
No, I don't think so either. Because what are you going to follow that up with?
Right now, I just got to put my hands on you. Now we just have to move furniture. That's where I think this is going, which we need to see that physical escalation between these two. So, yeah, and Bonus Baby is right. Larry, I'm sure you might hear some stuff about Larry over the next few weeks, which if you're a dog lover, you might want to close your ears on that. But honestly, for me, I think there's a such thing as going too far. But in this instance, obviously those two, they're professionals. They're gonna talk out everything. They're not just gonna throw something out there all, just out of the blue. But for me personally, if I were in a program with someone and they said, hey, we really need to get this heat, I'm gonna go, I want to go here. I'd be like, you can say just about anything else. Let's not go there. Now, if my dad was in the business, it would have been a different story, like Roman's. But
right, yeah.
But there are some people that can't handle it, and of course, you see people online that are like, "Oh, that's just too far. That's just trash," and all of this. So that's why I asked the question: was it too far, or was it just good old school? I'm gonna talk junk about you, and let's get this heat going, and let's. If Roman comes out in a Larry shirt, I'll just leave it there. Yeah.
I mean, Jeff, there's so many ways it could go. I mean, Punk's wife is in wrestling now. If he really wants to delve down into stuff, I mean, you can. There's so many ways that they can keep escalating this, but yeah, look, this is kind of, Jeff, what I enjoy about this feud is it's very old school feeling. When you used to look back at and now again, these are times in wrestling that were just very different. 70s and 80s wrestling, even into early 90s wrestling and stuff like that. People could say things that they couldn't say before. Could say things then that they can't really do now. So it felt very old school to me, because in those days they would take shots constantly at people's family, at people. My God, one of the best to ever do it was Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was a genius at that. He would take shots. He didn't care. He would take shots at anything and everything that you had going on. and nobody ever cared. Now the generations that watch wrestling are very different, and they're not used to that.
Right.
So when they hear it, they get there. It's like sticker shock. They're like, whoa, like and then some people just get mad. And yeah, like Jeff said, I think the thing that everybody has to remember is that yes, they are two veteran wrestlers. They're both very professional. Listen, I highly doubt, Jeff, that with these two, anybody in that creative room has a say over what they're going to do. They're going to make the final choices as to what they are going to say and what is going to be said. So there is no way that Roman wasn't involved. There's no way that they would have just said, okay, or that Punk would have just done this without consulting Roman in the first place. Right. So yeah, that's a great point. And that's one of the things you have to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look, it escalated the feud even more. This is going to be a blood war. Like literally, this is probably going to be way, way more interesting. And I'll tell you, I don't know. This has to be the main event of the show. Has to be. And I know that there'll be some people that say it should be Randy and Cody, but this has to main event the show. There is no doubt, and that's the way that they're building this up. But yeah, this is just not there. There's going to be no punches pulled going forward from this.
Yeah. Well, speaking of another feud that is going to be basically the same thing, no punches pulled. Rhea and Jade, they finally confront each other, and we've heard about some spats going on with these two, and they kind of aired some things out. So what do we make of this match? And Joe, let me ask you this. Any other year, is this a main event match?
That's a great question. Look, I think, Jeff, that we have come to the point in time where I think they at least have to start considering one of the WrestleMania nights as a women's match. And look, I understand. I get you have these huge names, but I think we're past due for that. I think it's perfectly fine to have like let's say you're going to do it this year. Punk Roman is the clear-cut main event, clear-cut. But I think this match, or another women's championship match, I think should have the other main event. I really do. I think we're at that point. They deserve it. And look, I kind of figured this was going to get personal too, because look, we know the background of Jade Cargill. We know where she came from. We know, all that. And a lot of that kind of got avoided here, up until the point of this. But you have Rhea Ripley, who is quite possibly the most popular woman in the WWE. Quite possibly, right? Going up against Jade, who comes in from another company and just takes WWE by storm. And is just an amazing athlete. And, but yeah, any other year, I think it should have probably been a main event. And I still believe that, again, that yes, you have two great men's main events, but I think one should have been a clear-cut main event. The other one should probably have gone to the women. But this is going to be phenomenal. This is going to be, and this is no offense to Stephanie Vaquer and Liv, because that's going to be a great match too. But I don't know. This one I think is it surpasses it. Yeah. And again, that's no offense to them, but this is just outstanding.
Well, Joe, this was one of the matches when Jade was in AEW.
Yeah,
that we fantasy booked. Like, man, what if we ever got Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley?
Yeah.
Now we're getting it at WrestleMania. I do think that it is deserving of a main event spot. I just don't know which match you tell.
Yeah.
I don't know of the other two matches which one is not the main event.
Right.
So that's unfortunate that they didn't make this bigger feel, I think.
Yeah.
To elevate it to that main event level for more people, so it's more of a certainty. But I'm excited to see this. These two, I just like. I think I'm gonna like this matchup because one, Rhea hasn't felt like an underdog in a while.
Yeah.
And she kind of feels like an underdog, even though she's not. So I kind of like that edge to it. And Jade is just your typical heel champion, just doing her thing, not really worried about anybody. I think this is going to be a great match. And I think this is going to be a good opportunity for Jade to show how much she's grown over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously when she came in, Jeff, she came in kind of raw, we saw some things from her that, we knew that we knew right off the bat, like, okay, she's got work to do. She's got work to do. And when you're going up against a woman of Rhea's stature, who we have seen, Jeff, battle Charlotte Flair. Mm-hmm. I mean, she that is the pinnacle. That is the pinnacle of women's wrestling in WWE. You can go toe to toe with Charlotte Flair, and you can beat Charlotte Flair. That's saying something. So yeah, the one thing is, Jeff, regardless of if Jade loses, what she has to do here is she has to come in and she has to establish herself and her dominance of like you said, of how far she's come. And if she loses, that's fine. But she's gotta get that established. We can't see the same Jade we saw like 7, 8, 9 months ago. We have to see something more. We have to see her get to that next level. And then if she does that and loses, that's okay.
Right.
And because then you could set up a future match between the two of them. She could gain it back. So, but yeah, this is what we look. When Jade came here, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see her go up against people like this. We want to see her go up against somebody like Rhea Ripley. Now it's clear, Jeff, who the fans are going to be behind. There is no question.
Yeah.
No question who the fans are going to cheer for in this match. So Jade is going to have no one really cheering for her at all. No one. So it's tough. It's going to be tough for her to, pretty much have, and this could be, Jeff, this could be one of the opening night matches.
That's true too. Yeah, it could be an opener.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that could be a lot of pressure on both of these women as well.
Very true.
And, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. And like Jeff said, it's all about the growth of Jade and how we see her come out of this. Even if she loses, I'm okay with that, but we've got to see that she's coming off strong and that she's coming off as, okay, I lost, but I'm on your level. You can't turn around and you can't say, you're well beneath me anymore. So, yep.
And I think too, this match. So we often say this about newer stars and kind of a prove it match against a veteran to show that they belong in that spot. Even though Jade is champion right now, I think there's another tier that she can take herself to, depending on her showing against Rhea.
Yep.
And I think if she can look really good, even in defeat, people can be like, okay, yeah, maybe she lost the title, but that's one of the best women in the world wrestling today, period. And I think that might put her in that conversation if she can show that she's improved and done and do what a lot of people feel that she can, which is go to WrestleMania and show up and show out against Rhea. So
agreed.
All right. So next up, we're gonna go to AEW. They add another faction, the faction of David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors. They're going to be known as the Dogs. They are in AEW now, and that makes another very popular group of people that they've signed recently. And I forget how many folks they've brought in. I saw something online about the names and folks they've brought in 2026, but they've added quite a bit of people to their roster. Granted, they've lost some people, but they've also added quite a bit too, Joe.
Yeah. Look, I'm a fan of factions. I like wrestling to have a lot of factions. The only thing, again, and I can't criticize really at all AEW because I just don't get to watch the show very often. But you just, to me, in my mind, you just have to be careful a little bit when you do stuff like this because if you're just bringing in people to bring in people are just going to get lost. And maybe they'll be out and about and they'll be in front of a crowd for a couple of weeks here and there. But then if they just end up somewhere, on the sidelines and you don't really hear about them because you just have a lot of stuff going on, is it really a good thing to do? Just to sign a bunch of people that are going to come in maybe 1 week. You're going to see them on the show, and then you might not see them again for another 3-4 weeks. I don't know. I don't know. I think that sometimes you can get to a point, and look, this has happened to other wrestling organizations over the years. There was a time when WWE would sign, they would bring in a lot of people, and the same things happen. People just get lost, and then they just end up going somewhere else. So I don't know. 3 talented wrestlers, and they have a lot of that on their roster. What my question is are you going to have enough hours on TV to get all these acquisitions and get them the time that they probably need? You could go to Ciampa. You can go to the Rascals. You can go to, to any of that. It's great. You bring them on, and they're great people, and they're great wrestlers. But, man, you only have a 2-hour show, and then your pay-per-views. So you gotta know, like, all right, I got a lot of talent here, but I got to get them TV time, and I got to get them in front of a camera, and I got to get them on something. So I don't know. That's really the way. And again, I'm not speaking of a lot of knowledge of the show, and a lot of because again, I haven't probably seen an AEW show since that the women's match, the Blood and Guts match. That was the last time I watched it. Okay. So it's been a long time. But yeah, I don't know, Jeff. To me, it just comes off as, are you signing people just to say you're signing, or are you signing people with intent? And I think that's the question that I have.
Yeah. We're not ready to have the conversation I want to have about that, so we'll hold that off until the next episode. But I do think that what I'll say is this: they've definitely added a lot of variety, I would say, this year to their roster. They feel like a more complete roster. Before, it felt like they had very similar wrestlers. Now I think you have some folks from a character standpoint that can stand out a little bit different. Ciampa just turned heel, so you got that already. Okay. So
yeah, okay.
So we'll see where things go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
All right, Joe. So next up, we're gonna leave Jacksonville.
Okay.
And talk about this matchup that we're gonna get in a few weeks. Steve Maclin, Mike Santana for the strap. Man,
who would have thought? I mean, this was kind of an insane swerve, right? Like I don't think anybody could have said that you would have seen this coming from Maclin, a guy that we were all talking about. Jeff and I were mentioning this to one another. We talked about him as being gone. We were shocked that is he really fired? My God, we had discussions about where he was going. And, he's probably just going to go join up with his wife and stuff like that. We had him gone. And what a swerve they came up with here. And obviously he's not gone. He's right in the mix of possibly getting the title now from Mike Santana. And you want to talk, look, I mean, Maclin's gone from the beginning of when we were watching AEW to we hated him then. Then all of a sudden we loved the dude. Now we're back to hating him again. So, this is crazy, man. When you got Hannafin involved with this whole thing now, and this has become like extremely personal. And I don't think Macklin's been, Jeff, in this position since he was going up against Josh. When you had the feud with those two, that was carrying on for a good while. But we all know what Maclin is as a heel. We know what he can do when he wants to be a bad guy. And what a challenge this is going to be for Mike Santana, because we just don't know. We still don't have clarification as to what happened, why Maclin wasn't truly fired and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. So this is going to be a great match, and in a pay-per-view that that's not one of their major ones. This is a big fight, and it's going to be interesting to see how Macklin's going to perform, and he could certainly come away with the title. It wouldn't shock me. So, but yeah, this has been crazy, crazy storyline.
Yeah, this was one of the times where I was really glad that a company got us.
Yep.
Because Steve Maclin is a TNA favorite.
Yep.
Heel or face, doesn't matter. He's a favorite.
Yep. And
I was really pissed he was out of the company, or so we thought. But these guys have been on each other's radar since very early on when Mike Santana first came back to TNA, and they had a feud then that was pretty good, and this time is for the title. And I think that Steve Maclin definitely has a chance to take the title. So we'll see what happens. I think we get a stipulation added to this match.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense. How does it, where do you think it would come from, Jeff? Would it come from Mike Santana, or would the stipulation come from something with Macklin's side of it?
I think Santana, I think we'll get Monsters Ball.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll get. If we don't get it this time, maybe the next time they face off. But I think that's what we get between these two, because you gotta get them riled up, don't you?
That's true. How long would you say this goes on? Do you think they can carry this into like Slammiversary if they go this far?
I was going to say Rebellion. I think Rebellion is the next big show, I think. Yeah. I don't know if they can stretch it out to Slammiversary. Let me look and see when the dates are. Sacrifice is
end of March.
March 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Rebellion is April 11th, and we don't have the date for Slammiversary yet.
Slammiversary got to be May, right?
Yeah, May. I think maybe we get it at Rebellion. And then again, you got to think at some point Nemeth has to use his.
Yeah.
But I think now he's going to use it on Leon Slater.
Yeah, it would seem that way because they've got a feud going now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then he knows that if he gets that title, he at least has a title, but eventually he can use option C if he wants to get back into the world title picture.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So it's a little bit of a 4D chess for Nick Nemeth, I think.
I like the bonus babies comment. Can you imagine if Hannafin actually helped him win? That would be something, wouldn't it? And you know what's funny about that, Jeff, is Ray Walt's almost kind of been turning kind of good. He's been kind of the good guy lately. So I don't know. That might not be too far-fetched. Ray Walt's been kind of turning the other direction. And if Ray Walt sees him join up with Macklin, then the two of them would be at odds. And Ray Walt would kind of change roles in a way with him. So that's quite interesting. I like that comment. Yeah. That would put a lot of craziness into the storyline. Yeah. But yeah, in any case, this is something that TNA has to. They've always been really good since we've been watching them and doing the watch-alongs. They've always been good at storytelling. This is something that they have to continue. They have to do things a little bit different than the other companies to get noticed. And something like this can do that because here's a guy who was literally fired, gone from the company. And all of a sudden he's just hanging around and now he's getting a title shot. This kind of thing doesn't happen, right? So, that's what keeps TNA interesting, along with other things that we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what turns out, and this is going to bring people. This will have people keep coming back, and watching the developments in this because they're like, this is very strange. He was gone. So yeah, I like it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Joe, I know I've kept you waiting long enough for this.
Oh my God.
But you just talk about this. You have fun, my friend. Chris and I will talk about this on Tuesday, but I want to turn the floor over to you.
I don't even know if there's a word for it. Flabbergasted, maybe. I mean, this was brilliantly done. The fact that they re-signed her in the way that they did, because her contract was up. So a lot of people just didn't know. I myself didn't know. Are they really not going to bring her back? And then when you saw everything going down the way it did, and all the stuff that she went through with Carlos Silva and how Jeff pointed out that special effect they added in where she did the little handshake and you see the glow and stuff, brilliant. And then the bunny thing with that, oh my God, I near died. There was what the hell is that? There's a big it reminded me of when I was traumatized as a kid when I had to go see that mall Easter bunny in the mall when you see the big giant head. They were terrifying, by the way. Yes. That was never anything that a kid wanted to go to because those bunnies were awful. And to see that there, and then you go to her this is what Rosemary does so well. And this is why I love her character, and this is why she's essential to what TNA does. She's putting on her own Twitter page, the whole making Jack a dull boy to play on that thing, except she's saying no bunny makes her, oh my God, brilliant. And we don't know. Do we know that Allie's coming back? No. Do we know that this is what that's setting up? No. Do we know, even if that bunny, that terrifying bunny appears at some point, do we know that's Allie under a mask? No. But damn, I'm in for it. And I'm just thrilled that they re-signed her. I'm thrilled they brought her back the way that they did. I'm thrilled they're letting her do the stuff that she should be doing. This is what Rosemary excels at. And we haven't really seen this since the breakup of the faction. We haven't really seen this side of her. Sure, she always kind of has the horror side and everything like that. And we've seen some cool matches with her going up against people in NXT that were kind of horror characters as well. So she's always had that. But whatever this is, oh my God, I'm down. We were speculating, and all these thoughts are running around my head. I'm like, oh my God, is Decay coming back? Like, oh my God, is it going to be Bunny and her again as a tag team? I never got to see that before. I mean, whatever the possibility of this is, I'm in. And it didn't take much to hook me. So I'm just glad that they know what they have in her. And again, wrestling is much, much, much more entertaining and better when there is some sort of mystical type horror character in the show. It just is. We've seen that throughout the years of wrestling. When wrestling follows suit of what the movies do, it is a better product to watch. And what they can do now with AMC and her, and like I said, AMC's got to be all for it because they're a horror network. Yeah. So they've got to be all for it. And man, if they would just say like to them and to her, you go cut loose, you have fun with that, and just cut loose. Oh man, dude, you see, I can't wait. I can't wait. Some people were even saying, with the crossover with NXT and stuff like that, can you possibly somewhere down the road, and this is why Jeff and Chris are going to probably talk about it too, can you possibly get something between like something between a faction that she would have in the Wyatt Six at some point? The Wyatt Six have been everywhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I was so excited after the thing. Jeff and I talked for literally like 20 minutes after the show the other night because I was like going crazy. Yeah. So I'm super excited with this. Yeah. And again, like I said, just very happy. I know Rosemary's history. I know her background. I've read a lot of things about her. I've heard a lot of the stuff that she's gone through in her life. And just the fact that knowing that they signed her again, they committed to her, having her back and things like that is very cool. And I just can't wait to see what's next. It's going to be a reason to watch. And yeah, I can't be more excited for it.
Yeah. Barry Monkey saying all these groups starting and changing and still no bloody clue what the cleanse is.
Yeah, they're right.
Very true.
What Rosemary did, I think someone in chat said it, Barry, and I don't know if it was you, but someone in chat even said that. They're like, yeah, this already beats the cleanse, and we're not even a quarter of the way into it. So yeah, you're right. Yeah.
When do we get that?
That's true.
But
yeah.
All right, so we'll stay in TNA, and we'll actually stay in the Knockouts division. And who's going to be the next knockout or the knockout to beat the Knockouts champion, Ariana Grace?
Yeah, she was literally on Busted Open, and boy, was she obnoxious. Oh. My God. Holy. I'm listening to an interview. Denise Salcedo interviewed her. And man, oh man, like she's like, I am the best TNA Knockouts champion ever, and I should never drop this belt because they need me in this position. And I'm like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah, pump the brakes there, Junior.
You talk about it going to her head. It's a great question. It's like who is it? Who is next in line? We had Lei Ying Lee. Is it her? Is it, who is the next one in line? ODB. Yeah. We had ODB come back. Dude, but that's the thing. Who's going to step up? Who is going to be that person that's going to knock her off this pedestal? Is it Indy Hartwell? A lot of people kept saying, when does Indy get a shot? Jeff made mention of a name that he thinks might be the Knockouts champion. And is it a redemption story for her? where she maybe turns from heel to face by beating her. And you can guess maybe who I'm talking about here.
There is no way they're going to be able to sell her as a
I don't think they can either, but I've seen stranger things happen, Jeff. I don't think so, but I've seen stranger things happen. If they want it bad enough, that'd be one of the only ways I think they could even try to do it. But I don't think they can either. I believe you there. I don't think they can, but that would have to be a 100% a 180, 100% a 180. So, but
I think, I mean, I said this in the chat, but I think either Indy, Hartwell, Danny Luna, or Tessa will be the next champ. I mean, they could always do the go back to Lei Ying Lee thing and then have one of the names I mentioned or someone else even come in and take that title. But I do think that this is setting up for someone to have a gigantic face run or just a big story. Once they beat her, they may hold on to the title for a while, but I can see them putting the title on Tessa and really elevating her faction, because I can see at some point, I think they're going to try to turn the Elegance brand face to go against that group.
Yeah, it could be
at some point, but I just don't see them attempting to turn Tessa face. One, because I don't think she would work well as a face, but two, I mean, love her or hate her, what she's doing right now, she's really leaned into it and she's doing a great job at it. So yeah, I mean, I think you can see that before the end of 2026.
Yep. Would possibly have to turn Tessa face against Grace for the title due to them both being heels. It's very interesting. But whoever, I mean, the cool thing about a heel being the champion, especially an obnoxious one like Ariana, it's going to make the person who beats her just all that much get raised up that much more. And if it is Indy finally, then, she's going to be celebrated as the one who, and it would be interesting because she's taken out someone who's from the company she used to be with. So it could be her. Certainly could be Danny Luna. Certainly could be Danny Luna as well. Or is it somebody we haven't mentioned yet? I don't know. But in either case, Jeff, she's doing exactly what she should be doing, Ariana, and that is be obnoxious, be somebody that people are going to hate, and she's doing a good job of it. So,
absolutely. All right, man. Well, that's it for the news, and I think everyone knows what time it is.
Yeah, it's most people's favorite part of the show, and it's time to listen to our good friend here, and of course, rest in peace, Mr. Jerry Stiller. It's time for airing of grievances, guys.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right, guys, here we go. Well, you know what? Jeff has one that he's wanted to talk about. And so I am going to defer the floor to Jeff this week. I don't have one, to be honest, but I could certainly share in what Jeff's going to discuss, because I had a lot of the same feelings. Him and I talked about it after a show once. So, Jeff, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. I won't belabor this because it's really not a difficult concept. It's something that most of us are taught when we're children, most before first grade. But if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that comment needs to be reiterated to one Dave Meltzer, because for his awards, he awarded two-time Hall of Famer Booker T as the worst commentator. And I get it. Maybe Booker T's not your cup of tea, and that's fine. But a lot of people love his commentary. They love his ad libs during people's entrances. They love his energy. They love how it feels like it's an uncle that you're talking to in your room or in your living room, at a wherever, at a restaurant while you're watching something. That's what it feels like. And maybe you don't get that, and that's okay. You don't have to get it. But to call him the worst commentator, I don't know. I thought awards were about recognizing people's accomplishments and achievements and their hard work, not putting people down. Uh, I don't know that many people have a worst journalist award or anything, but I don't know. I mean, I think people can kind of make up their mind from there. But Booker T has done things in this business. He's accomplished things in this business that, one, no one ever thought he could, but two, in so doing, he created opportunities, further created opportunities and avenues for young kids that looked up to him and idolized him and wanted to be like him in the business. He created those opportunities by being who he is, but also what he's doing now is he's getting a different generation into the shows. He's using pop culture references. He's making people's theme music cool. He's doing all these things to have fun, to entertain, because that's what wrestling is, right? It's supposed to be about entertainment, not saying that anyone is the worst of anything. But given where we are in society, I guess it's, kind of a par for the course thing. But I would just say to Mr. Meltzer and people like him who feel the need to put everybody else down in order to prop others up, remember that when times are different for you, and when it's time to critique you and your professionalism and your contributions to, I guess we can call it, your contributions to wrestling or the discourse surrounding it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Whatever happened to the word respect? I mean, again, I called this, when we had our show weeks ago, trash journalism, and I stand by that. It comes down to the fact that they will say anything to fire up an audience, regardless of how bad it is, just to get clicks, likes, and views. And that's a shame. And if that's the way you're coming off, but again, what does insulting a great wrestler, what is that going to do for you? Like, what does that do for you? Does that make you feel powerful? Does that make you feel like you're better than that person? Like, I just don't get the end game. Like, I don't get the end game. For me, look, when I was in college and stuff like that, and I was writing for newspapers and things, I would never, sure, I had my own opinions about people, but I would never disrespect anyone. I would not do that, regardless to sell an article or not. And I was never asked to do that by bosses and stuff that I had, people that were above me. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like, what is the point? What is the point? Especially a guy like him, you know? I mean, like Jeff said, I loved the tag team he was in. I loved Harlem Heat. He's done so much. And plus, he just seems like a genuinely nice guy. I don't know him. But
I met him once, and he was amazing. Yeah. He was an awesome dude.
Yeah, that's what I said. He just seems like a genuinely nice guy, and he also genuinely seems like an actual fan. When you hear a commentating team, right? You always have one guy who's kind of like, well, at least old school. You always have one guy who's kind of like the heel commentator, and you have one guy who was the face commentator. That's how it always used to go. Now it's a little bit different because now you'll have like ex-wrestlers that are kind of like analysts. They're more like sportscasters now, where you'll have a guy like Daniel Bryan, who's doing very well, is like an analyst. He gives you like a great play-by-play because they know exactly what's going on. Booker T comes off to me as a fan. And why not? He should be. He's down there with NXT, and I'm sure he's helping a lot of these young people. I'm sure they have all, and I've heard a lot of them have great things to say about him. So, you know, what is this doing for you other than getting you clicks? And man, if that's what we're stooping to, dude, you know, maybe it's time to hang it up. Like, if that's what we're looking at, and this is all we've got left, then I don't know. Look, I know my age, and I know that, you know, a lot of these young people that are coming up are very, very, very different. But I also know when it's time to say enough is enough. And so, but, you know, to start picking on somebody like him, it just, to me, it serves no purpose. What purpose does it serve other than to piss off a bunch of people? And if that's the kind of stuff that you're into, dude, like that stuff went out about a decade ago. And I don't know, maybe you should have too.
It's awful, man, because wrestling is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertainment.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks like him, there are others out there. There are other outlets out there that do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
This misinformation and division and all of that. It's supposed to be fun though. Like, when did it become, all right, I'll just put it like this. Enough of us face that garbage in our day-to-day lives.
You're not kidding.
With politics.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yep.
So, like, enough of us face it every day. We don't need the same bull crap in wrestling.
Yep.
And over the last several years, wrestling has felt like the political parties taking pisses on each other every single day. Yep. That's what it feels like. So after a while, you get that from your day-to-day news, because you got, as a responsible adult, you have to stay up on what's going on in the world. And then you try to say, okay, well, let me escape from that and get to wrestling. And you're essentially doing the same crap over there. So it's frustrating. I just wish that people would get hip to what these people's games are. But I mean, misery loves company. So
I will say this, and this is, you know, I will say this. You want to really hit these guys where it hurts? Ignore them. Pay them no mind whatsoever, because the last thing they want is to be ignored. That is the worst thing in the world for one of these people, is to be ignored. You can hate them. That's great. They love that. You can like them. That's okay, but not as great as the hate part. But if you ignore them completely, and don't pay them any bit of attention, that's what they can't handle. That's what they can't handle. So that's the only way that you'll get these people to go away, is just make it that they're not there, that they don't exist. Don't even give them a bit of acknowledgement, nothing. Because they want you to get mad. They want you to at them on Twitter. They want you to call them out. They want you to get into an argument with them so they can prove how much more knowledgeable they are than you about the topic. And then their minions, I like to call them, will hop down your throat. So that's what they want. Just ignore them, because that is when this all will stop. Eventually, the dude will realize his age, and he'll get over all this, and he'll retire with his millions or however much he has, and and move on. But yeah, it's just it saddens me more than anything. It just really does. Coming from a background that I have, it just saddens me. So.
Yep. All right, man. Well, let's go to sell or no sell here. And
all right, guys. You know how this goes. Get your questions ready for the third part of this, and we will do a couple that we have prepared. Of course, you sell it if you like it. You no sell it if you don't. And yeah, get those questions coming for the wheel part of the show.
All right, here's the intro for that. And Joe, we only have one question this week, and then viewer's choice. So go ahead and start.
Sounds good.
Go ahead and start getting those in.
Yep.
But here's the intro. All right, here we go. Cody winning the title again to set up a match with Randy Orton was the right move for WWE, Joe. Sell or no sell?
I'm going to sell this. I think, like I said, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here because I think I pretty much gave my reasons behind it. But I just think that at this point now, where we are, I mean, what would the other alternatives have been? And that's what I was trying to look at it from. Like, what else could it have been? Could it have been Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton? Yeah. But is Jacob Fatu at Cody's level in stardom wise? Not saying wrestling wise, but in stardom wise, would it really have been that same of a feel had it been Jacob Fatu? I don't think so. Yeah, I think that where they are and what they had to do, and because of the injuries, like I said, to some of the superstars, especially the Braun Breaker stuff with Heyman's faction and all that kind of thing, and maybe who knows if Seth Rollins would even be ready for Mania, or is he going to be ready to go? And maybe he is, but maybe he can't go for very long. So that's kind of not going to really be maybe a factor. So, but I think that this was the only option that they really had. And I get it. A lot of people wanted a longer run from Drew, but look, I think that I think that I'm going to sell this because I think this was the way to go for them. I really don't see, because I look at it from, Cody was going to be at Mania. So what were you going to do with him if you didn't do it this way? So right. I'm going to sell it. I think it's a pretty easy sell.
I'm going to sell it, but only because I think from a dollars and cents standpoint, because Cody has been your champion quite a while, and because of his history, I think the marketability is there. Not saying that it's not for Drew, but I think also given the fact that Cody and Randy have a significant history, that also factors into this. So I'm going to sell it. I don't know if I like the execution of it, because I feel like either don't have Cody in the chamber, or I don't know, but I just feel like why now? You know what I'm saying? Why the immediate? So that's just my thing, because I just feel like Randy won the chamber, but then Cody gets an immediate rematch, and I don't know. He just lost the match in the chamber, so he shouldn't be rewarded for losing the match by getting an immediate title shot. But
yeah, I mean, it makes sense
because of injuries. I get why they had to do what they did.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see what we got and get your questions out, guys, because we're at that point. Let's see here. We've got no sell from Alexa Bliss Gamer, a sell from Sean Bruce. We got a sell from Dylan. We got a no sell from Damian, a sell from Jason Peace. Wow, look at that. It's one or the other, all the way down, kind of. I'm selling because it's more marketing match than Orton McIntyre. Says Brandon, my jury is out on this Cody win for now, says Bonus Baby. Sell if Cody wins, he should turn heel. I believe Randy wins. Dylan says my sell. Oh no, that's what he has for the upcoming one. Andrew saying no sell. And then Andrew saying okay, and then we got a whole bunch of people doing stuff for the spinner. So okay, very split there. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought it would be more one way or another. So okay. Jeff is getting them down. He'll let us know how many more we need to fill it up.
I am actually good.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So now, of course, we will spin the spinner, and it will be one of your questions that we will make the next question here. So there it is. The spinner is there. There it goes, round and round. Where it stops, nobody knows. Bang.
Bianca Belair returns to WrestleMania to turn heel.
Wow.
And cost Rhea Ripley the match.
Ooh.
That was from Brandon.
Ooh. Well, that's interesting. I mean, a lot of people have been saying, where is Bianca Belair? Why hasn't she come back yet? A lot of people were expecting her before this. And so does she make a return? Now, that's the one thing. You don't see that a ton, where a person makes a big return at Mania to cost somebody. You don't see that a lot. Not saying it's never been done, but you don't see it a lot. I could see her coming back the day after on Raw. That's where, and challenging whoever has the title. If it's Jade Cargill, it would make a better matchup. If it's Rhea, yeah, I could see that too. And again, you're looking at it from a heel standpoint. She could certainly come back as a heel and challenge Rhea. So I'm gonna no sell that though, in my opinion, because I do think that they would save her for the following night's Raw going forward. So that's I'm gonna no sell it though for that reason.
I'm gonna no sell it because I don't know that her finger will be ready in time.
That too, yeah.
That injury was pretty bad. So
yeah.
Hopefully she's close to being cleared, but I just don't see it happen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. All right, let's see what everybody said here. Seller knows. Okay, that's still that. She had surgery on her hand, said Bonkers. Sell a heel Bianca would be intriguing, and I'll add this. She joins up with a heel Street Profits team. Now that would be must sell. That'd be cool. Yeah, where have they been? We haven't seen them in a while. No sell from Dylan. No sell from Damian. No sell just had surgery on her finger, and after an injury and prolonged absence, it's hard to boo a person. Bonker saying she had surgery on her finger knuckle. No sell, says Andrew Stevens. No sell, says Bonus Baby. I will say no sell only because I think she will still be rehabbing her injury. like Jeff said. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if she's not ready to come back, obviously she can't come back.
Right.
So good stuff. All right. Well, there you go. Thanks, guys, for getting those out very promptly. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, I'll tell you, this has probably been the warmest day that we have had here. Jeff, it's got to be maybe since October of last year, I think. We were like 65 degrees. But the nights are still going to be a little cool yet, not quite getting to spring just yet. And we always kind of need something that's going to warm us up a little. So we have the burning question of the week. And this is a good one. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. Shout out to the person. I normally don't attach names to them, but maybe I'll start doing that. But this is a really good one. So here's the question. You guys always talk about your age. So you've seen a lot come and go as wrestling fans over the years. What's something you're glad no longer exists in wrestling? Something you're happy exists in wrestling? And something you take away?
Wow. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. I like this question. Like I said, you guys can do this kind of a thing if you want to. If you want to ask like something specifically, about us, you certainly can do that. I mean, within reason. We're not going to tell you like personal stuff, but something you're glad no longer exists, something you're happy exists, and something you take away. Well, I could tell you my happy has come from more recent. And that's the fact that we're getting good tag team wrestling going again. That's something that makes me genuinely happy because there was a long stretch of time there where the tag team divisions were not spotlighted. And it was one of the reasons why I really got into TNA when Jeff first told me about it, because they always had great stuff going there. I mean, Josh Alexander and Ethan Page going up against, all the teams, the Machine Guns, and all those matches that they had. So that's one of the things I'm happy about, for sure. And then, man, so the other ones I'm going to have to think on here a little more. Glad no longer exists, and something I take away. Wow. Glad no longer exists. Man, something I take away would be pricing your fans out of the business. And I mentioned that on the last show because I think that that's happening more and more and more. And it's not just one company that's going to do it, unfortunately. But I think pricing your fans especially out of being able to attend live shows, that to me is a big, big mistake. Yeah. You're only gonna look. Sure, WrestleMania is for nothing but rich people. You have to have a ton of money to pay for those tickets, to get to the venue, to fly there, to travel, whatever the case might be, to even stay in Las Vegas. You have to be loaded, right? So already they're pricing people out of WrestleManias. But pricing people out of just regular shows like just a SmackDown or a Raw, that's a big mistake. And generally I directed at WWE, but it's going to come. It's going to come sooner or later because of the prices of everything else from other companies too, and that's a bad mistake. Something I'm glad no longer exists. Man, this is a tough one. I can tell you one that I would like to see exist that doesn't anymore. And Jeff and I talked about this on previous shows, and that's managers. I miss managers in wrestling. I really do. But something I'm happy no longer exists. I'm going to think on that one, Jeff. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you answer a couple. I'm going to think on that one because I really don't know.
So what I'm glad no longer exists are bra and panties matches.
Good call.
Something I'm happy exists is the fact that we're in a time and place where people of color have opportunities to become champions, and it's not like this huge, oh my gosh, it's always a big deal, but it's becoming more common, and that's a good thing. We're getting more diversity in our wrestling, especially in our champions. For years, we saw people of color have those great matches or have programs with people, but never be able to get the world title. Now we're seeing something like that. And honestly, what would I take away? Backstage knowledge and access from fans, because I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have, and why so many people get so bent out of shape when wrestling shows don't go the way that they think they'll go. They hear something about something somewhere that's going to happen at some point, and that sounded convoluted because that's how it feels from some of these sources and places. And I just feel that taking that away would, one, get rid of people going overboard and feeling like they got to get it their way, but two, I feel like it would take away some of the tribalism as well. So that's what I would do.
Takeaway is actually a good one. I probably have multiple answers for wrestling Twitter. Gone, just gone. But man, no longer exists. Yeah, look, I'm gonna probably have to go back up on Jeff's comment with that too. I am very happy that, and you guys know, I've praised the women's wrestling up and down. I'm very happy that we have, women that are getting respect, that are not looked at just as objects, that are not looked at as just, the beautiful women, that they are looked at as pro wrestlers, and they're looked at as athletes. So yeah, like basically what Jeff said in a nutshell. Yeah, I'm glad that that doesn't exist anymore. That era of everything there is over, and that, when you look back at it too, all these women of the Attitude Era and stuff like that had to live through that and had to put up with that night after night after night at a show. I don't even want to think about that. That must have been dreadful. And they knew they didn't have a choice. It was their jobs. They had to do it. They love wrestling and they were getting paid for it, and they just had to do it. But yeah, that's something I'm glad no longer exists. And one thing again, I would add to this and say that I wish we had, and I wish would come back, Jeff, is managers. I want to see more managers in wrestling. I just think that we missed that. Now we have GMs, right, on both shows that kind of take the place of managers in a way.
And we've got Heyman, but
yeah, right. Heyman's there, but they're kind of few and far between.
Yeah, we got Don Callis, we got Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
we got some others, but
we have some throwbacks. But I really would love to see like what some new school managers would be like. Because I think, my God, could you imagine how the play could be? They could be so obnoxious that you, oh my God. But I think they were great for wrestling, simply because you don't necessarily always have a wrestler who is really great on the mic right away. And those guys really helped out in that respect. So I would actually love to see managers come back at some point, because I really miss. I mean, the heyday of managers: Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jimmy Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. All of those guys that were involved. Obviously, Paul Bearer with the Undertaker. They just make they really just make the wrestlers that much better. And there's a lot of wrestlers out there that can use it. But yeah, great question. I love it. Let's see. You guys are playing along. So let's see what everybody's saying. I say no longer exist jobber squash matches. Happy the return of factions and to go away tribalism amongst the fans. One thing I'm happy that exists is the partnership between WWE and TNA. Feels like even money in the bank is for rich folks, LOL. Something I take away, tribalism no longer exists. Squash matches every week until a pay-per-view. Something I'm happy still around. Face paint, creepy characters. Doink was my guy as a kid. Barry Monkey says, I'm glad women's wrestling is now taken seriously and not just a joke sideshow that it used to be. Yeah, great point. Something I take away, dirt sheets. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. It just ruins everything. It really does. I'm happy with two companies coexisting like TNA and NXT. Something I'm happy exists, diversity among wrestling companies compared to decades past. Very true, too. Yeah. For me, the Vince McMahon having putting some matches pretty much week after week. So basically that Vince isn't there anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Take away some spoilers. Happy no longer exists. Trying to pass it off as real. Happy that it exists. Options for fans and wrestlers. What I would take away, tribalism. If you don't like something, don't watch it, says Bonus Baby. Something I take away is the what chant. Oh, yeah, that's getting a little old, isn't it? Yeah, that's getting a little old. I agree. And you know what? Fans are using that now, and it's not even what it was when Steve Austin was doing it anymore. Now it's just to do it because you're being obnoxious. You're just doing it on purpose to just be obnoxious to the wrestlers that are in the ring, and I don't like that either. I don't think that's what Steve meant that for. Happy it exists, young guys, and streamers now that we could chat about wrestling. Derek says Cornette. Even though people hate him, he was Jim Cornette, yeah, absolutely, was a great manager. We have Heyman, we have Don Callis, we have Big Stoke, but where is a Mr. Fuji? Something I'm glad no longer exists. Braun Panties matches, says Andrew. Agrees with Jeff. We need a Mr. Fuji, a Cornette, a JJ Dillon. Yeah, I totally agree with all that. Something I would love to come back is house shows more of. Yeah, you know, that's another great point, because you know what? And if they're going to try to price everybody out, then bring back the house show where you don't necessarily have the top stars. But these wrestling companies all have enough that they can do house shows and still put up a good card. So yeah, that's a great shout. I love that, and they could still make money. They could still make money on it. Let's see here. The what chant during a foreign wrestling talking is the worst. The only thing I ever disliked about Steve Austin, the what chant, LOL. Yeah, but again, I don't even know. I think if Steve could look at and see where that's come, and all these years later have thought twice about it and not done it, then at that point, I think he probably would, because yeah, it just gets now. It's to the point of where, like I said, it's almost done now to be disrespectful and Steve was just playing his character, right? And Steve just didn't give a damn about anybody who's playing a character. But when the fans do it, it is actually really disrespectful. And yeah, it is just very boring now. It is very boring. So.
Especially when you're in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Or you have someone that speaks a different language.
Yeah.
That's just real disrespectful.
Yeah, totally agree. Yep. That was a good one, man. Thank you for the question.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you guys want to follow up on that, you want to do something a little more personal, you can certainly always put in questions like that for that segment. So thanks.
And you can email those questions to us. You can send us to them in DMs.
Yep.
Send them our way. We'd love to take the questions. I'd love to have multiple questions every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could do multiple questions.
Yep.
Seuss World.
I don't think every time a championship changes hands, there should be fireworks and pyro.
Okay, that's something you would change.
Okay, yeah. There didn't used to be. That's a new thing.
Would you only reserve that for faces?
Or would you only reserve it for big, huge shows?
Right.
Like a Mania change of a title or interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Favorite moments of the week?
All right, guys, it's that time. You all know how this goes. We're going to go 3, we're going to go 2, we're going to go 1, and tell you our favorite moments in wrestling of the week. So play along, and we will start with our number 3.
Well,
Jeff.
first, before we get there, we got to do the intro.
Ah, yes.
So here we go. All right. And what's up, Conrad?
Hey, Conrad.
Y'all go support Conrad and subscribe to Everything Pro Wrestling. Conrad does a great job. Said dropping off a like before school and work. Leave them a like and subscribe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Conrad.
All right. Well, let's get into our top moments of the week.
Yes, sir.
We will start with number 3, Joe. So my number 3 favorite moment of the week, Joe, was seeing Danhausen curse Dom.
Oh, so good.
Subsequently leading to Penta capturing his first title in WWE. So that's my number 3.
Yeah, that's great. That was a great segment. And again, you talk about, and this could be another situation very easily where they may have done something different, where they may have changed plans up from what it was necessarily supposed to be. But look, Penta is so good, and he's well deserving. And I'm loving the Danhausen stuff, dude. I told you, I said it, Jeff said it, we all said it, how this character is going to fit wherever he's going to be. And it doesn't matter what show he's on, but they're taking this curse thing that another company didn't really find a way to use, and they're using it to its fullest potential. They're making this curse be a thing. So now, whoever he's cursing is either losing or something bad happens to them. And I dig it. I absolutely dig it. It is perfect for his character. And I love how he's making crazy demands.
Yeah.
The demands are hilarious, dude.
The Demandhausens.
Yeah, this is hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely. And Jeff, it's so good that that they're letting him be what he is. They're not making him change. And so many people have said that too. Oh, if he goes to, remember like 5 years ago that we were talking about him and that was what the people would say, oh no, we don't want him going there because they're going to they're going to turn him into something he's not. They're going to make him be stupid. And we I did not know. He's being what he is, the character that he created. So yeah, that's a great one. That's a great shout out at number 3. I love that. My number 3, and this just goes to show you where I'm lining up with this, that this falls down to number 3. But my number 3 was the CM Punk and Roman thing. That's how far. And Jeff, you're gonna know my number 1. I mean, everybody's gonna know what my number 1 is. So like that just knocked everything down the ladder. But yeah, Roman and Punk was insane. I didn't know where they were going. I didn't know where it was going to go. I had no idea when he said that. That's the first time I actually sat and was watching wrestling and was sitting there going, wow, did that really come out of his mouth? And then I'm like, I'm waiting for Roman to explode at that point and run after him or something like that. And the fact that he didn't, but you could see the look, kudos to him too. You see the look on his face, just the seething on his face. So absolutely brilliant, done absolutely brilliantly. So that was my number 3. Let's see what people have. Number 3, Penta winning the IC title says bonkers. Alexa Bliss gave us a CM Punk and Roman Reigns promo. Tatum Paxley winning NXT Women's North American title.
Yeah.
Same thing for Dylan and Bonus Baby. TNA's live show last week. If you ignore the technical issues, it was the best show so far on AMC. Damien says Penta winning IC title on Raw. Big Dancing, the number 3, the potential for a Tom Brady WrestleMania appearance after his tete-a-tete with Logan Paul. Imagine Tom Brady laying a chair shot on Logan Paul next month at Mania. Number 3 says Clown the Danhausen curse works. Number 3 says Andrew also says Danhausen cursing Dom, leading to Penta winning. Danhausen going to be the main comedic act for when Truth retires. He'll be around for a long time. That's a good comparison. Any other number 3s? My number 3 is a tie. The build up to AEW Revolution and Penta dethroning, as I call him, Triple D, Dirty Dum Dum, to win the IC title. Tyler, my favorite 3 is a Tommaso Ciampa turn heel in AEW. And then Sean Rousset says Danhausen interaction with Judgment Day and The Miz, Danhausen cursing Dom, and what will the fallout be? Okay, so Danhausen, look at that. He's there 1 week.
One week.
1 week, and he made everybody's top 3 just about.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right. What do we got for our number 2s? What do you got for your number 2, Jeff?
All right. My number 2 for the evening, and I'm probably going to split this one up, so I'll split this one up. Number 2 for me, my 2A is the meteoric rise to stardom for Trick Williams. That's 2A because that dude is just knocking it out of the park.
Yep.
And he feels like their next big star. And I'm so happy for him and just really, really wish him the best. 2B is going to be Tommaso Ciampa turning heel. Because, again, we've been critical. It's like, hey, you get these new people, then it feels like you're not doing anything or like they've got, lost in the shuffle. But he feels more and more interesting, so it doesn't feel like he's losing steam. So that's my number 2, my 2 number 2. So
nice. My number 2 is Here Comes the Axe, Here Comes the Smasher, the Demolition, Walking Disaster. Get into the Hall of Fame. That's my number 2. I can't tell you guys how much I love those guys. Even when they got the third man, wasn't right at first. I was like, this is gonna be weird. But I even loved Crush. The whole thing about them, they were just that was my tag team. That was because the other ones that I grew up with, they were around for a long, long time. The Strongbow brothers. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas, the other ones that I loved growing up, they had been around for a good while before. But when Demolition came, they were a product of the 80s, and I absolutely loved them. So very grateful Jeff got me an autograph because I had never gotten to meet them or see them or anything like that live. So that was very cool of Jeff to do that. And I have that salted away with all my other awesome autographs that I have. But yeah, that's such a great moment. And I will definitely be with intent watching the Hall of Fame this year for sure. Not just for them, of course, but for AJ and for Stephanie and everybody else that's going in. But it's going to be a really fun show, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Demolition get those. So that's my number 2. All right, let's see. Alexa Bliss Gamer, of course, says Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair becoming the number 1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Big Dan says CM Punk with that vocal haymaker on Roman Reigns. Number 2, Penta winning the IC title. Bonus Baby says Danhausen cursing Dom and threatening to curse The Miz. What's he going to do to the poor Miz? Like, The Miz doesn't really need to be cursed. But, yeah, what's he going to do to him? The build to AEW Revolution on Sunday of this upcoming week, says Damien. Oh, is that next week? Is that next Sunday?
Yeah, it's next Sunday, so we're probably going to have to skip next Sunday.
Yeah, we
don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to fight against that.
Yeah, that's true. We won't have a show next Sunday. 2A is ODB on TNA and Leon versus Nick Nemeth. Oh, what a great match. Yeah, what a great match. My number 2 is NXT Vengeance Day. Number 2, AAA's weekly show. This is Barry. I have to start watching that, man.
You do.
Yeah, I got to really start watching that. Number 2A, David Finlay chasing AEW over WWE and completing the Dogs faction. Number 2B, Tatum Paxley winning the Women's North American Championship at Vengeance Day, says Andrew. All right. We're going to the number ones, your favorite moment of the week. Wait, there's another two. Oh, no. Is that another? Nope. Okay, we're good. Number 1 moment of the week in wrestling. What was it? Jeff, what's your number 1?
All right. My number 1 favorite moment of the week. We don't often do this, but I am going to give my number 1 favorite moment of the week to the entirety of the TNA show from Thursday.
Yeah.
From the matches to whatever the heck that was with Rosemary. It was just a great show all around. Like Clown said, the tech issues, they were a little bit annoying and a bugaboo. Hopefully they get that stuff fixed and worked out. But, man, just keep telling stories like that. Keep setting up stuff like that, and they're gonna make a lot of noise. They're gonna have a lot of viewers turn the channel to AMC.
Yeah, for sure. My number 1. I mean, I'll just read this to you. All hate and no bunny makes demon a dull girl. Dude, when I can get excited about a wrestling show after all these years and at my age, I got to give kudos to the fact that, and I'm a fan just like anybody else. And when I see something like that happen, and just the speculation of it, we don't know anything about it yet. We don't know if she's bringing the bunny back, if she's actually coming back, or if this is just a thing that Rosemary, we don't know. But that's the whole fun part of it all. And again, like Jeff said, the fact that show was in itself was just awesome. And it was. That whole show was fantastic. But the fact that this came at a time where, again, horror is starting to come around. You had Scream 7 come out. Now you're going to start getting some really other good horror films that are making their way out this year. So I love it when wrestling mirrors that, because it gets me excited to see that. In fact, we've got another Friday the 13th this weekend, folks. So guess what? I will be wearing again another choice of hockey mask for the stream this week, because I have to. It's Jason's birthday. In fact, here I will show you that. That is from Gutter Garbs, by the way. I'll shout them out. The Friday the 13th T-shirt. But anyway, yeah. I mean, the fact that Rosemary's back, she got re-signed. Obviously, she's doing something. There's something going on. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna love it. And I'm just super, super happy that they re-signed her. They brought her back. It just makes me happy that she's going to be involved in the show and stuff. So yeah, that was my number 1 moment in a week filled with what could have been a ton of number 1 moments. But yeah, that was my number 1. And I have to give a shout out. Everybody shouting out Danhausen makes me happy. Because we've loved that character for the longest time, and seeing everybody in the chat talking about him, I'm sure he's selling a ton of merch, and it's great to see. And how many people have said, oh, if he ever went to WWE, they would just change him up so much, it would be garbage. But no. No. So yeah. But yeah, it's been great. All right, let's see what we got for people's number ones. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dane from NXT Vengeance Day, where Tatum became the new NXT Women's North American Championship, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. Big Dan says Danhausen. Haven't been into wrestling as much since Bray's passing and other things, but I watched this guy's segments this week and was in stitches. I like this guy and was a great get by WWE. See, that's really cool. That's really cool because, again, you know, someone has to fill that gap. And when someone has a void in them from someone who is no longer around, to see somebody that kind of fills that gap, that's an awesome thing. And I'm sure he'd love to hear that. The promo battle between Reigns and CM Punk and Thursday's episode of TNA, says Dylan, is 1B. Supporting my local indie and getting to meet Mustafa Ali last night. My wife says, Clown. Wow, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Damien says, number 1A, Tatum Paxley winning the Women's North American title. Number 2, ODB on TNA this past Thursday. My number 1 is CM Punk Roman Reigns face-to-face, says Brandon. Sean Rousset says 1B, Rosemary Vignette and contract signing. 1A, Cody Rhodes winning on Friday. See, there's still people like Sean that are out there that are Cody Rhodes fans. So they were happy. Dro says, DRO 946 says, it's good to see they're doing something with her. Barry Monkey says, number 1 NXT Vengeance Day, best PLE by any company so far this year. Every match was top notch. Only problem was it was too short, 2.25 hours.
I would agree with that sentiment. It was a fantastic show.
Yep. Barry Monkey, Andrew Stevens, number 1A, CM Punk and Roman Reigns battle, promo battle. Number 1B, TNA reinstating Steve Maclin and adding more chaos to the TNA World Championship scene. I want to see Danhausen crack Roman and Brock. Oh my God. You can't help but do that. Like, and that's the thing. Like when he comes up against like the bigger, more serious people, and Brock, it would probably be even easier to get him to laugh now because Brock just like laughs at everything. Brock loses his pants and he's cracking up laughing. Brock seems like a much like, you know, funnier Brock now. But that's awesome. Very cool. A lot of cool moments this week in wrestling. It was a fun week. And I'm looking really, really forward to TNA this week to see what happens after all that. I missed you, Bonus Baby. What did you say? What did I miss? Where is it? Where did I miss you?
Let's see.
I miss your number 1? I saw your number 2, the Danhausen thing. I don't think I saw
the
it.
number 2.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the number 1 from you.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing a number 1 from you. I read your number 2. That's all I saw. You have to list it now. Go ahead, list it now, quick, because I didn't see a number 1 from you.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
I saw the 2. I didn't see any number 1. Jeff and Joe, when Tony D makes it to the main roster, I think he will be big too. Yeah. Why not? Danhausen needs to answer the open challenge 1 week for Brock like Truth before the Rumble. Brock's daughter is dating one of the 49ers, and Danhausen must have cursed Dak Prescott because he and his fiance split just weeks before the. Did he really? I'm not keeping up with any of that. Wow. I didn't read. Didn't they have a kid? Didn't they? I thought they had children. I thought they had like 1 or 2 children too. Damn, dude.
That's rough.
How about Jason Tatum, baby? I am shocked by the miracles of modern medicine. I never thought he would play at all this year, and to see him coming out and what an ovation he got from the Boston crowd. Oh. Sports is amazing sometimes, but for him to come back and to play at a high level, it boggles my mind. 10 months. Where has medical stuff come from? Like
that injury used to end careers.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, you know, he is such a huge fan of Kobe. Could you imagine if Kobe would have seen him come back from that injury so quick, and that he could be playing? They are probably either very close to or being a favorite to win the East, which is insane to me. Insane. Like, it's crazy. Randy Orton bending over to check out Trick's lemon pepper steppers before hitting an RK out of nowhere. That was a good one. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Yeah. But again, see, nobody can say that they're not using their youth, because Trick Williams, like Jeff said before, you watch and see how quick he's going to be involved in the main event picture. You watch and see. And talk about a guy who can be the top heel in the company. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Can't cure cancer yet, but get the athletes out there. Thoughts and prayers to Bruce Campbell. Yeah, Bruce Campbell got diagnosed with cancer. I did see that. I did see it. Although the good thing is it is a curable one. So he is getting treatment and stuff on it right now. So, yeah. Prayers and thoughts, obviously, to Mr. Campbell, who entertained us all with one of the zaniest horror movies I've ever seen, the original Evil Dead.
Oh, my gosh, man.
One of the craziest ones ever. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. That's going to do it for us for this episode. Thank you all for coming out and joining us for it. It was great. Loved all the questions and stuff like that we got, and all the interaction and everything like that too. So, no Between the Ropes next week. I did not realize that the AEW pay-per-view was Sunday, so we will be skipping so that everybody that wants to watch can go and do so. So for this week, then all we will have will be Fireflies on Tuesday with Jeff and Chris. So make sure you join them at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we'll be back for TNA on Thursday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here and being a part of the show. We appreciate it. Please make sure before you go to like the stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also hit that notification bell to be notified about when we have future content. Thanks all. Please stay safe. Again, keep James in all of your prayers, please, as well. Be kind to one another, and hopefully we will talk to you all on the next episode of The Insiders. Have a great night, guys, and we will talk to you all soon.